Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Monday, May 5th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning shows we are clearing up and drying out across central California, but still deeply mired in moisture over southern California as this unusual late-season storm continues to affect the region. And what you see here is what you're going to get today. We've turned the corner to warmer and drier weather over most of the central part of the state, while we have one more day of cold and wet weather across the south. Here's a look at the current radar imagery, and you can see where the rain showers are and aren't this morning, and that's going to remain the theme today as well. Expect dry weather over central California, while scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms continue all day long in southern California. With time, the focus for shower activity should shift mainly along and southeast of the I-15 corridor, becoming mostly concentrated across the deserts, but with a few passing showers lingering in the mountains as well. Additional accumulations today will be fairly light, but up to a half-inch additional on top of what's already fallen is possible over Southern California. Speaking of what's already fallen, here's a look at approximate rainfall amounts over the past 7 days, going all the way back to last week's thunderstorm activity. You can see the scale down at the bottom, and feel free to pause and take a look at your local area. One important note is that this map is reasonably accurate in some areas, but due to a lack of rain gauges, there are definitely areas, especially in the deserts and the more sparsely populated regions, where this map will underrepresent rainfall. In other words, a lot of the deserts and some mountain areas likely receive significantly more rainfall than what you see here. We just don't have the gauge data to show for it. We've also had thousands of lightning strikes. We'll put together a summary lightning map in the days ahead once this event has ended, but the collective lightning strike total since the middle of last week is likely around 10,000 strikes. Looking ahead now, here's a look at the forecast high temperatures today, and you can see it's a story of haves and have-nots in terms of who will and won't have the sunshine today. In Central California, we've definitely turned the corner, and it'll be a mild spring day in the mid-70s to mid-80s. But Southern California remains much colder than normal for early May, and actual high temperatures today in most cases will probably be colder than what you see here, mainly in the 50s and 60s across the South Coast. We do have some big changes in store weather-wise this week, as we are going to kick out winter and quickly ramp right from spring to summer. The deep cutoff low pressure that has been badgering us in recent days will slowly drift into the desert southwest the next couple of days as high pressure starts to build into California. That high pressure will then become strong late this week, allowing the warmest air of the season so far to overspread the region. By Wednesday, we'll be rebounding at least closer to normal temperatures in Southern California, with 70s and low 80s back on the board, and continued warm weather over Central California. But take a look by Friday as summer arrives in a hurry. By Friday and Saturday, expect upper 80s to mid-90s in the valleys and high desert, 70s to low 80s in the lower mountains, and mid-90s to 105 in the low desert. Humidity will remain high over Southern California the next couple of days, while gradual drying will occur over Central California. By late this week, minimum humidity will fall into the 12 to 25% range for most of the region. These are Friday's min-RH values here. Winds will be light and terrain-driven through most of this week. In terms of our rain chances, they are going to be on a downward trend after today. With the cutoff low still close by, isolated showers and thunderstorms are possible mainly over the deserts once again tomorrow, but with lesser coverage than prior days and minimal accumulations. And from there, mainly dry weather is expected Wednesday through Sunday. There will be slight chances for afternoon isolated showers and storms over the Sierra, but with much lesser, if any, coverage of shower activity versus the widespread rain of recent days. And finally, while we're going to heat up later this week, it doesn't look like something we should get used to. There are strong indications that yet another unseasonably deep trough of low pressure will barrel into the west coast by Sunday or next Monday. This is likely to bring significant cooling, increased westerly winds, and potentially more unseasonable rain chances by early next week. Tying this all into fuels, there is going to be a lot of variability out there based on the winners and losers for rainfall in recent days. Broadly speaking, all classes of fuels are now very moist region-wide, but we'll see sharp drying trends across the finer dead fuels by later this week as the much hotter and drier weather sets in. For areas that didn't receive too much rain in recent days, this should start to cycle us back into more seasonably typical May conditions, and we'll start to resume the grass curing cycle. However, in areas that received more unusual amounts of rainfall, such as the deserts, the San Bernardino Mountains, and the Inland Empire, there's going to be some real question marks as to what this amount of unusual moisture does to the growing cycle, and how much of a delaying effect it will have on fire season. Large fire potential will remain very low through at least Wednesday given all the recent and ongoing moisture. By later this week, the hotter and drier weather may lead to some increased lower elevation grass fire potential in areas that did not receive as much rain the past few days, such as the Central Valley and portions of the Central Coast interior. But again, other areas are likely to see significant delays to fire season onset after this rain event. So overall, fire potential will remain low through the next 7-day period, but at least some increased initial attack is likely with the hotter weather later this week. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Tuesday, May 6th.